Mark Farner and Don Brewer of Grand Funk Railroad fame give us two different versions of how We're an American Band was made. I'm John Bowden from Rock History Music. We're an American Band was Grand Funk Railroad's seventh studio album and the first of two number-one singles. The other was a cover of the Loco-Motion the following year in 1974. This is part 3 of a 12-part series that we have talking to first. Well, I talked to Don Brewer, their current and original drummer, who's now heading the band, and Mark Farner, the former lead singer, chief songwriter, guitarist, and keyboardist of the band, who left in the late 90s. We have to interview them separately since, of course, they're not talking to each other. We asked both Mark and Don about the beginnings of the hit single. Like I said, their first number one, We're an American Band. We got two different versions. First, drummer Don Brewer.
I'll never forget the first time I heard We're an American Band on the radio. I was driving from my house over to Mel's house, and we just released the record, and it came on the radio, and I pulled my car over, and I just was laughing it just sounded like a hit record. It sounded so good. Still does to me. That song, with Todd producing, and the energies that song has, it just says hit record to me.
Tell me about the making of We're an American Band.
I was not a great guitar player, but I could play a little two-finger chord, so I could get the ideas across. I wanted to go down, 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 down. So I could show what the chords were, and then we're an American band, and I could sing it, and do all that stuff. Actually, coming on, the intro, just came from the fact, we needed an intro for the song, and that double bass drum thing that I do, is really a single bass. I don't play, I play a double pedal now, but I didn't play a double pedal back then. It was a single, and I was always imitating the sound of a double bass drum, but I would do it on one pedal. So that's the way I play. And that's that's where that came from, the whole cowbell thing into that double bass drum deal, and it's just the way I play. A lot of drummers, they try to cop it and they go, "What are you doing? I can't figure out what you're doing."
That's a great compliment, though, isn't it? When a drummer comes up to you.
No, it's incredible, but I can relate to it. I hear drummers do stuff all the time. I go, "What in the world is he doing?" And I'll have to sit there for an hour and try to figure it out. And it's almost like math. You have to kind of do the math and figure out. Well, he's hitting the snare drum like this. He's hitting the bass drum like this. So you put the math together and slow it down, and they go, "Oh, I get it. Yeah, I get it."
A few weeks after talking to Don, I talked to Mark Farner, who was that guy in the front of the stage with the long blonde hair, singing most of the hits, singing most of the songs. He says he had a say in the making of We're an American Band. His take.
Lynn Goldsmith, our publicist, she says, "Why don't you guys do a song that's who you are? You're an American band." She says, "You're an American band." So Brewer comes in the next day and he's got lyrics to We're an American Band. But I wrote the music. He had two-note chords to get it started. He doesn't play guitar, but he can play two notes to show you where a chord would be or what he's thinking of. So this is how he brought it in. And then I said, well, in the first place, this song got to have a cowbell. And he goes, "Cowbell?" I said, "Yeah, man." He says, "I don't only have a cowbell." I said, "Well, you need to have a cowbell on this song." He says, "I'll pick one up." I said, "No, pick 6 up. And we'll pick the best one out of the 6, really." And that's what happened. So the cowbell's there because I heard it there. And I demanded that we have to have this cowbell there. And then that intro drum lick, that's in my head. That's what I heard. I said, "Brewer, if you can do this," and it's that double kicking in the bass drum. That, it's like a train getting started. And he, after many tries, he learned it, and he still plays it today, I understand. But that's my drum lick, and so is all the chord changes and the vocal harmonies. I wrote all that stuff. But he came to me, John, and he says, "Mark, I've never had a song credit, a total 100% song credit." He says, "Can I take it on American Band?" I look at him, I said, "Go ahead, Brewer," because I'm a nice guy, and I wanted him to feel good about it. I'm a giver, too. You know, I don't feel bad about it. My reward is it just given. My heart feels better for doing it.
I thought I'd include this clip because at the end of my interview with Don Brewer, I asked him, I said, have you ever heard American Band by a Canadian called Nash the Slash, who actually looked like a mummy, used to have these drapings like a mummy, and he never showed his face. He was also in the classic Canadian prog band FM for a little while. Now, it's easy to assume that every time someone records one of your songs, and Don is credited when the dust settles as the songwriter and the singer for We're an American Band, it's easy to assume that he's heard all the versions. I was surprised by what he said.
You've obviously heard the Nash the Slash version of We're Gonna Burn Down Your Town, of We're an American Band.
Which version?
The Canadian version. Nash the Slash. He was in the band FM, and he says, I'm coming to your town. I'm going to burn it down.
No, I haven't heard it.
Oh, my God, you've got to look it up.
Okay.
It's kind of insane. He was the guy who used to have wrappings around his face. He looked like a mummy.
Okay. Nash, N-A-S-H.
And Nash the Slash. He called it I'm an American Band.
Okay.
Nash and it sounds
Slash.
very much
I'm
like,
an American.
Yeah, and he says, I'm going to come to your town. I'm going to burn it down.
No, I haven't heard that one.
He was, please just do yourself a favor.
We'll have more of our conversation with Mark Farner and Don Brewer of Grand Funk fame coming up next weekend. I also want to say thanks to everyone who bought our t-shirts and our sweatshirts and our mugs. We sold out the first run of our t-shirts, which is really nice. So thank you so much for supporting us. We're trying to raise funds right now to buy better equipment for this channel. We've got big plans ahead, and we're bringing some people into the channel to help us out. By the way, if you ever want to volunteer with us, let us know. Go to rockhistorymusic.com to buy any of our merchandise, or johnbowden.com. There'll be links in the description of this page. I'm John Bowden. Make sure you comment on our videos, subscribe to our channel, and share our videos. This is Rock History Music.